Did you know some of Star Trek's most unforgettable moments weren't planned at all? From bloopers that accidentally made it into episodes to spontaneous ideas that became fan favorites, the series is full of surprising, behind-the-scenes stories. When the cameras stopped rolling on the Enterprise, the cast and crew often created moments just as memorable as what appeared on screen. Here are some fascinating facts that may change the way you see one of science fiction's most iconic franchises. Even in a series as carefully produced as Star Trek, mistakes happen, sometimes resulting in moments that surprise both cast and viewers alike. One of the most famous bloopers comes from the original series episode The Trouble with Tribbles, where a prop cat appeared unexpectedly in the background of a scene. The animal wasn't scripted, but its unexpected presence gave the scene a layer of charm that fans still laugh about today. Another classic blooper occurred during Star Trek: The Next Generation, when Patrick Stewart flubbed the pronunciation of Klingon during early filming. The slip was so endearing that it occasionally made its way into rehearsal anecdotes and blooper reels, reminding fans that even Starfleet officers have off days. Sometimes, on-set errors created unintentional comedy that stayed in the final cut. In the original series, when a phaser effect malfunctioned, it made an oddly exaggerated noise. The director decided to keep it, adding an unexpected layer of humor to the scene. During filming of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, a Romulan actor's wig slipped off mid-scene, but the actor improvised by staying in character and reacting naturally. This slip revealed how adaptable the cast was, especially when working with elaborate costumes and heavy makeup. Leonard Nimoy, famous for playing Spock, once forgot a line so completely that he made a joke about it on set, lightening the mood for everyone. Over the decades, many bloopers and outtakes have been compiled as part of special DVD features and online fan collections. These collections reveal the genuine laughter and camaraderie among the cast and crew. Watching these clips, fans develop a deeper connection to the actors, understanding that their favorite characters were shaped by these real-life moments of imperfection. Some of the most beloved bloopers have inspired rewrites for subsequent episodes. A misread line or an unexpected costume snag might lead the creative team to rethink a scene's tone or delivery. One of the biggest mysteries revolves around a blooper from the original series, where Kirk appears to be looking off camera and laughing during an intense scene. To this day, the reason why is not fully confirmed, sparking fan theories and speculation. No one on set expected these bloopers would become treasured gems, yet they reveal an authentic and human side beneath Star Trek's high-concept storytelling. Every detail on Star Trek, from uniforms to handheld gadgets, holds hidden meaning that adds layers to the story world. The different colors on Starfleet uniforms marked out divisions: gold for command, blue for science, and red for operations. Red shirts would get eliminated so often during away missions that eventually people started saying red shirt as shorthand for expendable characters. What was supposed to be coincidence turned into a long-running fan joke for decades. Costume designer William, where Tice used subtle symbolism that most viewers barely caught at first. In the original series, he developed the Tice titillation theory, where costumes would seem more revealing depending on how intense an episode got. That mix of visual art and narrative helped shape why Star Trek looks the way it does. Props often leaned on real-life references. The communicator was inspired by early portable radios, but the idea was to make it look like it belonged in the future while still being plausible. That choice helped anchor the fictional tech and made viewers feel like these devices could show up in real life. The Vulcan hand salute was adapted from a Jewish blessing gesture that Leonard Nimoy remembered from childhood. It gave Spock more dimension and turned into a symbol that didn't stay trapped inside the series. The tricorder, a multifunctional scanning tool, was built out of modified existing gadgets like old cameras and calculators. That clever reuse showed budget-aware craftsmanship, and it became iconic in its own right. Fans often point out how that level of creativity made the tech feel believable. Costume changes across different Star Trek series show how things evolved over time. Star Trek The Next Generation was a clear jump toward higher quality fabrics and uniforms with more intricate detail to fit the 80s television vibe. It pointed to better textile technology and a push to suggest a more sophisticated future. The Romulans' recognizable eyebrows and ridged foreheads were shaped to communicate an intimidating presence along with political smarts compared to other species. That visual coding meant audiences could identify complex character types almost instantly, without needing a bunch of exposition. Some props even slipped in Easter eggs for hardcore fans. Control panels sometimes had labels or symbols that nod to real languages or mathematical formulas. These little touches rewarded people who watched closely and sparked fan conversations. Improvisation was surprisingly common in Star Trek, despite the carefully scripted nature of most episodes. Many actors brought their own instincts and personality to scenes, inventing lines or reactions that became permanent parts of the story. William Shatner's famous pause before delivering key lines often varied by take, with some spontaneous beats becoming iconic. Leonard Nimoy's portrayal of Spock featured moments of unplanned humor woven through his trademark stoicism. Once, he ad-libbed a sarcastic remark under his breath that made the entire cast break character. The director allowed a version to remain, giving fans a glimpse of Spock's hidden dry wit. DeForest Kelley, who played Dr. McCoy, often injected colloquial phrases and exasperated sighs when reacting to Spock's logic-heavy approach. These touches enriched McCoy's role as the emotional counterpoint to Spock and Kirk's leadership. John Delancey, who portrayed Q in The Next Generation, famously improvised much of his character's provocative dialogue. His quick wit and unpredictable energy helped shape Q into one of the franchise's most memorable antagonists. Majel Barrett, who played Nurse Chapel and voiced the ship's computer, sometimes ad-libbed calming reassurances during tense scenes, softening intense episodes for viewers. One of the most famous improvisations was the nerd alert line in Star Trek Enterprise, delivered by Scott Bakula. The line was reportedly added last minute to lighten the mood in a tense scene. Ultimately, these moments remind us that Star Trek's success isn't solely the product of writers or directors, but also the actors' instincts. Bringing the vision of a futuristic universe like Star Trek to life required overcoming countless technical hurdles, especially in its earlier decades. The original series, filmed in the 1960s, was made on a tight budget that demanded creative solutions. Special effects teams had to invent new methods to simulate space battles and alien worlds, often relying on miniature models, painted backdrops, and practical lighting tricks. These limitations pushed the crew to innovate, resulting in visuals that still hold nostalgic charm. One of the most ambitious effects was the transporter sequence, which became iconic for those shimmering beams of light. Getting the whole thing to work involved stacking multiple film pieces and experimenting with different animation tricks to suggest matter-to-energy conversion. By today's standards, it feels primitive, but at the time it was genuinely groundbreaking. Costume and makeup presented another major challenge. Creating believable alien species while working with limited resources meant applying heavy prosthetics, latex appliances, and detailed facial paint without interfering with actor performances. The signature ridged foreheads on Klingon and Romulans took hours of setup each day. The work required patience and serious precision from makeup artists. As the franchise grew into the next generation and beyond, computer-generated imagery made more sophisticated visuals possible. Still, early CGI integration wasn't exactly smooth, often coming with delays and extra costs. The production group had to juggle technological ambition against broadcast dates and budget limits. This scrappy innovation ethic resonates with modern fans who have been following Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, and Star Trek Lower Decks, both of which have embraced practical effects alongside digital wizardry to recapture the tactile charm of the classic era. Sound design mattered just as much. The noises from the Enterprise's engines, phasers, and alarms were assembled using synthesizers, recorded mechanical sounds, and human-made noises. Sound editors had to make sure the effects supported the moment without burying the dialogue or music. Filming inside cramped studio locations meant directors leaned on inventive camera angles, reusing props, and quick set redesigns to hint at alien settings. The same Enterprise corridor could be dressed differently so it looked like multiple locations, stretching the illusion for viewers. Lighting played a key role in creating mood and hiding imperfections. Colored gels, shadows, and strategic highlights masked set seams or guided audiences toward whatever feeling fit the location. Star Trek's sprawling narratives rarely made it from script to screen without significant evolution. Writers and producers frequently revised scripts to fit runtime constraints, budget realities, or shifting creative directions. Entire scenes or character moments were sometimes cut, resulting in behind-the-scenes stories of what might have been. One of the most notable examples comes from the original series, where the pilot episode, The Cage, was never aired as originally filmed due to network concerns about pacing and tone. Instead, footage was repurposed for the menagerie, creating a mosaic episode. This decision reflects the early struggles to balance artistic vision with audience and network expectations. Throughout the various series, script rewrites were common to respond to actor availability or unforeseen production issues. Sometimes entire subplots were dropped to prioritize central storylines. Deleted scenes often included potentially revealing backstory or character moments that test audiences might have found too slow or complex. These excisions sometimes left character motivations less clear, inspiring fan speculation and fan-made reconstructions. Star Trek's futuristic tech has fascinated fans for decades, mixing imagination with motivation pulled from real science. The communicator was inspired by then-modern Motorola flip phones, and those phones were in turn influenced by Star Trek's iconic design, creating a feedback loop that helped get people thinking about personal wireless communication. The tricorder captured imaginations by guessing at future medical and scientific instruments. NASA has even named some experimental scanning instruments after the tricorder, so the influence goes beyond entertainment. Warp drive comes from theoretical physics more than from some straight-up invention. Physicists like Miguel Alcubierre sketched models that feel close to what Star Trek shows decades later. The writers leaned on science advisors, so the whole thing would sound at least partly credible. The replicator, which can conjure food and objects on demand, is rooted in thoughts about molecular assembly and resource efficiency. Real molecular replication is still firmly science fiction, but the idea nudges researchers toward 3D printing and nanotechnology. Starfleet's computer interfaces push things forward with touchscreen panels and voice commands way before that became normal everyday tech. Majel Barrett's voice as the ship's computer made all of that feel more human, like an early conversational form of artificial intelligence. Star Trek's long history is filled with memorable guest stars who added excitement and depth. Mark Leonard became a fan favorite as Sarek, Spock's father, bringing dignity and emotional complexity to Vulcan culture. Ricardo Montalban delivered one of the franchise's most iconic performances as Khan Noonien Singh, transforming Khan into one of science fiction's most unforgettable villains. Whoopi Goldberg left a lasting mark as Guinan on The Next Generation. Her warmth, wisdom, and mysterious background made her an important presence aboard the Enterprise. John Delancey brought a completely different energy as Q, combining humor, danger, and theatrical flair. Majel Barrett created connections throughout the franchise by playing Nurse Chapel, Laxana Troi, and the voice of several ship computers. Armin Shimerman played several characters before gaining fame as Quark on Deep Space Nine. The franchise also featured rising actors who later became major stars, including Kirsten Dunst, Dwayne Johnson, and Ashley Judd. Some of Star Trek's most memorable moments weren't carefully scripted. They happened by accident. One famous example comes from the original series episode The Naked Time, where William Shatner's genuine laughter after a fellow actor slipped added an unexpected moment of humor that remained in the final cut. Production mistakes also slipped through over the years. In The Next Generation, a crew member's reflection briefly appeared in a console screen during The Naked Now, creating an amusing Easter egg that fans continue to spot on rewatches. Not every unexpected moment was a mistake. Leonard Nimoy's signature raised eyebrow as Spock began as a spontaneous performance choice before becoming one of the character's defining traits. Rather than hurting the franchise, these bloopers strengthened its connection with audiences. Fans enjoyed discovering hidden production errors and sharing them at conventions, in magazines, and later across online communities. The enthusiasm even encouraged filmmakers to allow actors more freedom to experiment, bringing greater warmth and spontaneity to later performances. Ultimately, Star Trek's legacy rests not only on its groundbreaking stories and futuristic vision, but also on the genuine human moments captured on camera. The laughter, improvisation, and occasional mistakes remind us that behind every voyage through space was a talented cast and crew whose imperfections helped make the franchise unforgettable. Star Trek's fun facts and bloopers give us a rare glimpse behind the scenes, revealing that even the most epic journeys have moments of human laughter and error. These stories deepen our appreciation for the creativity and heart that fuel this timeless franchise. If you enjoyed this dive into Star Trek's lighter side, be sure to like and subscribe for more fascinating insights from the universe of science fiction.